I mean, could you just kind of take us through this break for yourself? Recharging for you. What have been some of the goals for this break for yourself and SanDiego as a whole?
Yeah, I think it came at a good time. The way the first half of the season went probably wasn't how any of us had planned, but we also knew it was going to be a tough first half of the season because of our shortened preseason and CONCACAF Champions Cup. And then, we struggled to really rebound, especially from that Toluca game. I think that took a lot out of us emotionally. And so I think the break came at a good time. We needed to get guys fit again. We had a couple of guys that just couldn't go 90 minutes, and so that was really impacting how we subbed in games and everything like that. So from a physical standpoint, I think we're in a much better place. We've got most of the guys, nearly all the guys, back in training, so that's good, and that's a positive. We've been able to work on things that we think we needed to improve. I think that's also been good. And then, the window is now open, so a lot of work went into trying to follow up on targets, and now it's all about timing and trying to find the right deals at the right time. And so I think that's the process that we're in now. We've already started with it. We've got 2 new additions. We'll see some outgoings, but we also will see another couple of incomings. So that's now the main focus, is trying to figure out how we can improve the team.
And then what is any news on any incoming or outgoing DP, specifically in that left wing position, Urban Santos specifically as well?
Yeah, so obviously Ian's arrived, so Ian is in full training. That's great. He's been a good addition. We see him as providing competition across the back line. He played over 100 games for Cincy in a very solid Cincy team. Obviously his time in Colorado didn't go so well, but he was a player that we actually tried to acquire when we came into the league. We think he can play left back. We think we can play left center back. So I think he provides a lot of flexibility. Gabriel Pirani obviously is another addition that we were looking at for quite a long time. And so he's somebody that we think can play as 10. He can play as a 9. He can play on the wing. So really just provides us some more flexibility in attack. He's got tremendous quality in and around the box. He had 11 goal contributions for a DC United team that didn't score a lot of goals. So we're hoping that he can come in and really help the group. And then, we're probably looking at, I'd say, at least 2 more incomings. We want to add for sure a left winger. That's been the main priority and something that we've been trying to go after. Somebody that's 1v1, somebody that can attack players, somebody that can stretch the depth. We have a number of conversations progressing. Now it's all about timing and ensuring that we find the right moment to obviously capitalize on that. So hopefully more news to come on that soon. And then I think we'll also look to add most likely another fullback as well. So that's the other position that we're really prioritizing right now.
And then any updates on offloading the big contract, obviously?
We'll offload for sure in a few different areas. I think Lozano is somebody that, again, we're trying to work with him and his representatives. Still nothing has changed from our side. He's still not training with the group. And so, trying to, a lot of it's dependent on obviously him and his decision if he wants to continue to play football. And so we're trying to work with him in that and what that future could look like for him.
Are you anticipating that that's something that will get resolved during the transfer window?
I hope so. I hope it got resolved last window, but unfortunately it's not only us making that decision, so trying to work with him and his representatives. There has been interest. We're trying to actively pursue that interest when it comes up. Again, it's largely timing, as all these deals are. It's really tricky where one day you have nothing and the next day there's something there and you've got to move quite quickly on it. And so we are trying, whenever those things do come up, to engage with him and his representatives to see if there's any interest there. And we're hoping that it gets resolved as quickly as possible for all parties.
And you said as of now there hasn't really been any movement?
There's been some movement. Every day something changes. So there is still some interest that has come up this window as well. So there's not like we're just sitting there and nothing is there. People are still asking about him as a player and trying to engage.
You said that obviously there's his piece of it as well, that it seemed from the outside maybe prohibitive to a move. Do you feel like it's softened at all, and there might be more openness to this than maybe there wasn't the previous window?
Every day changes. It all depends what day it is. That's where it's about trying. The biggest thing for us is trying to capitalize whenever there is something. And I think trying to engage in those conversations if and when they do come up, and trying to find a resolution that is best case for all parties. And that's one that we've stuck by from the beginning and will continue to do, and try to, again, work with him to get him back on the field as quickly as possible.
How's Yepe feeling?
Yepe's good. He's been back in training. Yepe also got his green card, which is great from a roster standpoint. So that opens up an international spot, which was important. He went home over the break, did some rehab at FCN, which is also great from our partnership club, and then was able to come back. He's played minutes in all of our preseason friendlies. We have a last friendly tomorrow. He'll play significant minutes in that. So, we're fully expecting him to be integrated in the group as we start games.
When you kind of take inventory of the first half, how much of it, you mentioned the struggles, do you pin on the tough schedule, Toluca, red cards, injuries versus performance not being at the level that you guys want it to be?
I think our performance in 80 minutes of games was very good. The last 10 minutes really killed us, I think, in the first half. We dropped 11 points in 80-plus minutes. And if you take, let's say, even take half of those points, we're in a much better position. And so I don't think there's too much panic internally because I think we did a lot of really good things. We played with a lot of young players, too. We're number one in the league in minutes played under 21, and that was a strategy that we wanted to lean into as we continue to build out. And so we got a lot of young guys, a lot of meaningful minutes, and with that sometimes comes ups and downs. And I think that's what we experienced in the first half, and you couple that with red cards, as you mentioned. I think 20% of our minutes in the first half of the season were red cards, and that's unheard of. So we definitely need to keep 11 guys on the field and give ourselves the best chance to win. And then you mentioned injuries as well. Like, we have a shortened team because we have no academy right now, and so we have a really tough time having those extra bodies in and around the group, even from a training perspective. And so I think that's part of still being in an expansion phase, not expansion year, but expansion phase. And that will probably be the case for the next year or two.
You look up, you're still one spot out of the postseason. I mean, do you feel pretty good, more challenging to push for the Shield like you did last year, or that top spot, but feel good, postseason wise, despite the tough start, you're in position to kind of fulfill some of those goals?
Yeah, I don't think we paid too much attention to where we are in the table right now. And I don't think we paid too much attention last year because this is a league. It's a crazy league. If you win a couple games in a row, it can look very different. So we're really focused on the performances and getting the performances back to where we need them to be, particularly for 90 minutes. I think that was the biggest focus as we take this preseason and trying to get the legs underneath the guys. And I think we can pick up results as we proved last year very, very quickly with not too much of a different team. So that's our focus for the second half of the year, is ensuring that we can get 90 minutes in, week in, week out, and try to stack some results.
The value you've seen from your two players that did go to the World Cup, just getting them back, extra pep in their step, things of that nature. What have you noticed?
Yeah, I think it's great. Great for CJ. I mean, what a story for Cape Verde. I know CJ didn't play, but just to be a part of that, a wonderful story for a nation that probably had very little expectations. So to be a part of that group and to see them come together, it's been great to get him back into training. I think he's motivated now and taking a little bit of that motivation. And so he's looked sharp since his days back. And Panama, I think, overall had a disappointing tournament, but it's great to have Anibol back. He's somebody that picked up an injury towards the end of our going into the World Cup with a slight knock, and so I think that hindered a little bit his involvement, and I know he's a little bit disappointed, but he's had an unbelievable international career. He's the most capped Panamanian player ever and probably will be for quite a long time, and so he's a huge piece of our team, and having him back and now I think ready to raise and continue to raise the level of our standards is something that's going to be really important.
As far as kind of playing into, I know we didn't have this conversation, but the soccer celebration, everything that meant, kind of carrying that momentum into the second half of the season, maybe new soccer fans and things like that. What have you noticed from your end?
First, that's been amazing. I mean, what the group and what the club has been able to do to put that on has been incredible. I mean, to see all the nations come together and every fan is a little bit different. I've had the opportunity to go out there a couple of times, and I know the work that goes into that, and so a huge kudos to the club. That's a huge task to carry on, and to be able to make that the centralized place for people to watch the games has been incredible, as has the whole World Cup. I think it's been a huge pinnacle, and you look at the fans, every single stadium is packed, and these are huge stadiums, and so that's been again, now it's on the onus of trying to capture those fans, the ones that maybe weren't always San Diego FC fans and didn't know what MLS was, and so that's on us now to make sure that we try to carry that into the second half of the season and to try to bring those guys in and make them fall in love with the way we play and the way this club operates.
And then your thoughts on who's going to the final?
I have a soft spot for France, and I know that's an easy one because I think they are the best team, but I think whoever wins today's game will win it. I could care less on the other side, Argentina or England, whoever it is, but I have a soft spot for France, and I really like their players, and I was fortunate I got to work with a couple of them at Monaco. We signed Aurelien Tchouameni when I was there, and so I hope that they do well, and I hope they can get to the final and win it.
Any more questions?
We're 2 years out from another, big international sporting event. There will be soccer in San Diego. Like, haven't seen that. People experience that in LA. Maybe there's a little more interest in being part of that here. Like, what do you think the atmosphere could be like when you see men's, women's Olympic soccer at Snapdragon in a couple years?
Yeah, the Olympics is a little bit different. You've got the age restriction, especially on the men's side, but I think it'll be an amazing event as an amazing pinnacle to show off. And so I'm looking forward to those. It's a huge event. I think we could have some players involved in it. So I hope that the U.S., who just hired a new coach for that group, I hope that they can qualify for that because I think we have a lot of guys' trajectory to be involved in that group and have already been in some of the camps and lead up to it. So that's our hope, that we can continue to develop players to play at the highest level. It'll be amazing to get some people on our team involved in that, and especially playing in front of our fans at Snapdragon.
And then just the readiness level of coming into now a second tournament once again for San Diego FC in its second season.
Yeah, the second half is complex. There's a lot of games, and then we've got this little break where we go down to Mexico again and play in a very difficult Leagues Cup draw, and I think we're one of 4 MLS teams to have to go down to Mexico, and so that will add travel and complexities and altitude and everything else that they've been talking about this entire World Cup. So for us, it's about 1 week at a time. It's about making sure that we can try to get the performances level back to where they are, and we need to do a lot of rotations in this second half. We talk about making the squad bigger. That's not only signing players, but that's making sure that the guys are ready to go and fit. And then we also need to monitor what happens the rest of this window, I think. So we've got a lot of interest for our players, which is a good thing. A lot of clubs calling about our young players, and so we need to make decisions on that. But with that, we also know that we need to continue to, again, push the standards here and improve the team and give ourselves the best chance.
You ready?
Mikey, welcome back. How has this break been for you the first 3 weeks having off? I'm sure you were still kind of in coach mode. Was that how you were living it? And then what are some of the goals that you achieved in this break?
During the break, of course, we try to find a little bit of time to recharge, but you're in the middle of the season. So as a coach, with the responsibility that I have to the players, the staff, the city, the ownership, of course, I'm never really off. I did, fortunately, get a few days with my wife where I really turned it off. But, yeah, I was focusing on planning this preseason, because it's about squeezing as much juice out of the preseason as possible, because once it starts, we're just going. It's competing game after game after game. And then the preseason has been great, because we didn't really get one the first part of the season. And this gives us a chance to get guys healthy, but also to work on some concepts that we think will make us more competitive.
And then can you tell me how were some of these scrimmages or just trainings throughout the break that maybe you saw something different or something that you haven't seen from your squad in the first half moving into this beginning?
Yeah, what I would say is we just focused on improving in some areas. For example, being a little bit more aggressive with our press so we can win the ball more often instead of it always going long. Maybe also increasing the tempo of our play. But I try not to take too much short-term weight into anything you see, because it's still preseason and they're still building up, right? The first week they've been off for 3 weeks. The second week you're just getting your legs under you. So the most important thing is now where we stand at the end of tomorrow, how we have a feeling about the group. Now we're in our last preseason match, and then how we enter the first game. But then to continue building from there. And then what I would say is the competition was really good. We had a great competition platform, playing an inter-squad, but in front of fans, which was amazing, and just hugely appreciative of them coming out and showing their support. And then on top of that, playing Cholos and Tigres, so getting a little bit of a feel what Leagues Cup could be like against Liga MX teams. And then now with Portland and San Jose, 2 really strong teams in the West.
And then with the scouting process and getting some of the new players in, could you talk to me how that process is with Tyler and identifying that these are the players that are going to be needed for the team moving forward?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned in my last interview after the game, somebody asked me, and I talked about the areas that we felt like we could improve on. That's 100% aligned, because we're having discussions every day about how the team is doing, where we're strong. And right now we've brought in Gabriel and Murph. So both of them will be guys who should be competing for starting minutes. Now they didn't have the same preseason as everybody else, so we also have to take them step by step. And we're still targeting other positions in terms of potentially another attack-minded fullback who can also defend at a high level, and then still a difference maker in the highest line. And these guys are working day and night to make that happen. This is where their days get very, very busy. My focus is, because I know we're all on the same page and I know they're doing all the work, my focus is on the pitch, making sure the guys that we have are as prepared as possible. Because if life throws us that nothing else changes, my job is to make sure that we're competitive.
How do you see the new additions specifically fitting in to what you guys do?
The 2 guys who have come in?
Gabriel.
Really well. So Murph is a left-footed center back who can also play fullback. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's good in the duel, he's got good passing technique. And he's a guy, I think, who just needed a change of environment, and I really think that his personality and our environment fit very well. And what I like so far is I like how aggressive he is in the duels, so having that defender first mentality, but I also like that he has good coordination in passing. So this is really good. And then he has a lot of experience in the league. He has over 100 games playing in the league and playing in really high-stake games. And then Gabby is a really talented pocket player who's going to immediately impact our number 10 position. and make that spot much more competitive, which competition breeds excellence, in our opinion. Like, the more competition you have showing up every day, the more on your toes and the more your best comes out. And so he's got great final pass, good in 1v1, good finding the spaces, good in dribbling. He finds a way to score goals. What we really like about him is that he's got a hunger to press, and he's very clever in his pressing. So he's not going to have a long onboarding in terms of the details because he already has really good intuitions.
How quickly can we expect to see them on the pitch?
Yeah, that's going to be depending more on their fitness level. So they're both getting minutes tomorrow. Gabby shorter minutes because it'll be his first 11v11 exposure in over 2 months. Murph already got now 11-11 exposure last week, so now we're starting to push him above 45. So he can be in competition to start already for the first game. Gabby might need a few more weeks to get there, but we could see both of them in the equation coming off the bench for sure in the first games.
What's the value of this reset in the longer kind of second preseason, especially given the challenges of the first half?
I'll just take it in the context of why this new format I think is going to be great, because you never know what your context is going to be from season to season. I think it's a very long season. It's a marathon in MLS. So like, you're going 7 days a week for 10.5 months if you do well, and then you get 2 weeks and then you go again, 3 weeks and you go again. So regardless of if things are going well or things are a little bit tougher, I think the reset just gives everybody in the league a chance to get fresh again and to get excited about going, because like, we're all so hungry to start competing again, you know, and you're not in that dredge of like, oh my gosh, we haven't stopped in months and months. So that's going to be really important for everybody league-wide. And then for us, we believe we're best when we get some training time, and this allows us a second moment during the season to really fine-tune some things without the pressure of the points for those 3 or 4 weeks of preseason.
How much of the first half do you put on travel, demanding schedule, red cards, injuries versus your actual performance on the field?
Yeah, it's all a stew of things that contributed to it, and we cannot hide. We cannot make excuses that it was all those things outside of our control and not our performance. We also can't start saying that we were bad, because we played a lot of good football as well, and we had some circumstances go against us. I think the most important thing is that we're all hungry to change the picture, to work hard and attack the second half of the season as strong as possible.
As far as CJ, have you seen his process change at all since coming back and the run Cabo Verde had? I know he didn't play, but just how inspiring that was to him.
Inspiring for all of us. You see a guy make a World Cup, and as I told him, that train doesn't come all the time, and it definitely doesn't always come back. So I'm really happy that he got that opportunity, and yeah, I can see him really motivated, and you see a different level and you experience a different level firsthand. It can kind of change your panorama of how you see your current situation. So I think he's really hungry to make next steps in his career because of it.
I think the same question for Anibol. I know Panama didn't have as good of a showing, but just your review of him coming back.
Yeah, I think Anibol is a player. He already had that experience before, so he's already maybe the difference in how it could affect him is a little bit less, but it's something that I think he'll take to his grave as one of the biggest honors of his life. And then Anibol's in a stage in his career where he just wants to push it to the limits, because he's at the latter stages of his career. So I think that World Cup and realizing that that's my last World Cup also can probably give you that feeling as a player, like, ooh, I'm also towards the end of my playing career here. Let's push it. Let's have as much success as possible.
Hey, Mikey, ¿cómo le sentó esta pausa del Mundial al equipo? ¿Tuviste tiempo para mejorar y trabajar en ciertos aspectos que se deben mejorar para de aquí a entrar en la competencia para la próxima semana?
Sí, creo que fue un momento para refrescar, para recargar las pilas durante un año que ha sido con pocas pausas y muchos partidos y muchos desafíos. Y creo que nosotros siempre pensamos que somos mejores cuando tenemos tiempo para trabajar en cancha, para entrenar bien, conceptos claros, y estamos tomando los pasos para enfrentar esta segunda parte de la temporada con muchas ganas y muchas pilas.
¿Cómo se han integrado las nuevas incorporaciones al equipo, los nuevos jugadores?
Muy bien, Murph es un defensor que es muy agresivo en el duelo, pero también tiene un buen pase con su pierna izquierda. Y tiene mucha experiencia, tiene más que 100 partidos en la liga. Entonces él va a venir ahora al tiro para competir, para poder ser titular. Vamos a ver cuánto tarda ese proceso. Y Gaby es un jugador muy talentoso que te puede gambetear, tiene gol, tiene mucho pase-gol, tiene buena combinación, huele bien los espacios como un 10. Y también tiene ese lado de guerrero que quiere ir a presionar, él quiere ir al duelo y es muy inteligente en la presión también. Entonces, lo más rápido que él agarra su ritmo físico, porque ha tenido un pausa un poquito más largo, más rápido va a entrar en ecuación para marcar diferencia para nosotros.
A couple more if you don't mind. A lot of talk about U.S. soccer, obviously. What do you make of kind of their tournament, their performance, and then kind of some of the big picture questions about like U.S. soccer and how do we take the next step? You know, after given what we saw, a lot of promise, but
yeah, big picture. There's always questions when you leave a tournament. You know, there's always questions, and what I would say is that we're closer to everybody's dreams and aspirations than we were 10 years ago. We are, and but we need to make massive steps, and that's not just on U.S. soccer. That's on me. That's on the clubs in MLS. That's on all the youth coaches around the country. We're all in this together. And I think it's not a time to make crisis alerts, and it's definitely not a time to point fingers, but it's a time for all of us to take responsibility if we want football to grow in this country and to really try to do our part. Ultimately, I think those guys came out and had a really bright beginning of the tournament. This is why everybody got so excited. And why people get so disappointed is because when people's expectations go up, it's a farther way down when you lose. And it's not a game that I'm sure that they're happy about. But those guys are all guys who want to leave it all for their country. There's not a single person in that locker room who's trying to take a game off or who's not giving everything. They fell short. I'm sure they'll assess where they're at right now. I don't know anything that's happening inside, so. But we have a lot of capable players and staff out there that I know are going to use this as a motivation, but also as recognizing some of the good things to make the next steps.
And this is a random question, but how long have you had the logo tattoo?
Yeah, since last season.
Okay.
Yeah, middle of last season.
Just missed it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't wear short sleeves very often.
That's quite a commitment.
Yeah. It's for me. It's more the embodiment of what the project means. You know, in terms of talent, character, education of young people, connection to community. This will be my club forever, no matter how long I'm here in this role. I'll be a fan of this club. Like I said about Anibol, I'll take this club to the grave, no matter what happens to me personally on this journey, because like I said, I just stand so much for the values and the type of direction that the club wants to go in terms of connecting with community and talent and character.
Is that the only team emblem you have on you?
That's correct.
Thanks.
Mikey, una última pregunta en español solo. ¿Cómo recibió el grupo a los jugadores que participaron en el Mundial? Me imagino bastante orgulloso de ellos.
Sí, con orgullo y alegría por ellos y también bienvenidos para empezar a trabajar, porque es lo más importante.
How's it to be back?
No, it's great to have that sort of experience and then come back home and share the memories with my friends and staff members, teammates all over here. So it was a lot of fun.
Can you put words to what that experience was like?
It's hard to do so. The word that I've been using ever since like the beginning of the experience was surreal. It's still kind of hard to believe that it happened, especially the way that it did. But yeah, it was just so much fun. It was a great experience, and the way that we competed, it was something truly special.
Was there a particular moment that was most kind of unbelievable to you?
I think I'd kind of put off the feelings of what it could potentially be up until the Spain game, the first match. And I'm privileged and blessed enough where they changed the format where I was able to walk out onto the pitch with the entire team and sing the national anthem with everybody. And walking out onto the field with all those big name players, you know, with me and also against me, and then just seeing the stands as you're walking out of the tunnel, that was something that was very, very special to me.
And then the roller coaster that we were all enjoying with that Argentina match. I mean, to be there and kind of the center of it, so to speak.
That was by far the greatest game I've had the privilege of watching live. Probably one of the greatest matches I've ever seen, just in general. It was such an amazing game, back and forth. Both teams competed super, super intensely. What a game it was to be there.
We'd like to see the international fan base grow around you guys. 'Cause you're taking on these powerhouses, but having these great performances and the travel in between and all that.
We started out the tournament with 500,000 in the country, and then it turned out to be maybe even billions around the world. So that was something you could truly feel the love and support that we were gaining as the tournament was progressing, especially after that Spain game.
Vozinha, I think I'm saying that right. After that first match, the scoreless thing is Instagram popping off. What was it like just mingling with him as he became this international superstar?
They made the right person famous. He was one of the best players and mentors that I've had the privilege of working with. The man and player that he was before the tournament started, and the man and person that at the end of the experience, same guy, same humble, fun, loving, and caring type of leader in the locker room, on and off the pitch. So yeah, they definitely made the right person famous for sure.
And to see somebody in their 40s do something like that, has to be pretty inspiring as well for you as a young boy.
100%. I'm starting off this journey at my age at 25, and then it just inspires and gives a lot of people hope, that you can find the success, you can become something, special at any time. In football, in terms of years, 40 years old is quite old, but he showed that age is just a number, and you can achieve any sort of success at any point in your life.
How has your process kind of changed now, coming back to MLS and prepping for matches and things like that? I know you get some player to do.
It's nice being in a different type of environment where you can you can see the other players around you, and you can see how they prepare for games and how they prepare for training, and you can kind of pick and choose what may and may not work for you. So I had the privilege of experiencing that firsthand, and just being able to be in an amazing locker room where I felt free enough to ask those questions to the players around me and to observe what works for them.
How motivating is that for you, knowing you're 4 years out from possibly another experience on that level?
It gives me another reason to work even harder now. It puts things into perspective. It makes things seem more attainable than they were before, and now I have another clear-cut goal that I'm looking to work for.
Did you have much of a relationship with him, Vozinha, before that experience?
We had I'd been following him since 2018, 2019, and we would exchange messages every once in a while. And then finally I got to meet him in person in the camp that I met him in March. And then, as the camp went along, our relationship got better and better.
And so do you see that as a relationship that will continue, something that you can kind of, tap into as you need, going forward?
I surely hope so, because like I said before, he's an amazing individual. And he was a guy that I for sure look up to even before the tournament started. So, I look forward to seeing him as soon as possible.
Was there anything specifically that you came across during your experience that you can maybe apply to your game going forward that you were able to experience?
I think the main thing that I felt during the camp is that Cape Verdeans are a very free type of people. I like to say that we would go into the stadium dancing, blasting music, and then we would leave the stadium dancing, blasting music, regardless of the results. So it's just a free and amazing group of people, and it just made me appreciate my heritage. It made me appreciate the love of the game in a different way, and it made me feel like I can still achieve success while also having an amazing time as well.
There's a lot of talk about the tournament's expansion. You guys seem to make a really strong argument that it is good, and that including more nations is a positive thing. Like, what do you take from that? What message did you and other, Congo, what they did, Ivory Coast, deliver during this tournament?
Yeah, you can really see how competitive the tournament can be with the more teams that are in it. And all the nations that were in there, every team, had surprise results, had comebacks, had amazing goals, amazing moments. So that just brings the world closer together. That just brings a lot more nations to kind of push for their team to play, and really puts the game that we all love so much more on the map than it was before.
Cape Verde earned a lot of respect for its performance during the tournament. What do you think it showed to the world? Like the proof to the world, the team, because it was one of the smallest teams in the tournament.
I think it shows that anything is possible. It doesn't matter where you come from. All that matters is how well you compete, how well you do in the, within your team, and how much you want to play. So that just really shows, that football is such a beautiful sport, and just anything can happen.
And the game against the world champion Argentina, how was it? You just said the best game to watch live. How was the vibe, inside the locker room with the team, and especially Bocinho? Yeah,
that was the game where I think I stood up for about 45 minutes straight. I usually don't do that. I'm more calm on the bench, but I was reacting to everything. So for about 45 minutes there, I was definitely out of my seat. And everybody, obviously after the game, obviously you want to win, and we were so close. But everyone was just so grateful. Everybody was just so happy to have played the games that we did against the teams that we did, and the way that we competed. So you can't help but not be, appreciative and grateful for the opportunities that we all had.
Any more questions for CJ?
Portuguese also, momento favorito?
Okay, não percebi. No Portuguese?
Momento favorito?
Qual é o favorito? Não percebi. Momento? Deve ser o último jogo contra a Argentina, certeza. Esse jogo era, se calhar, o melhor jogo que já vi ao vivo. E o primeiro momento do jogo da Espanha, entrar do campo com meus colegas contra esses grandes nomes da Espanha. E naquele estádio cheio de gente, cheio da paixão do jogo, esse momento era a minha memória favorita.
Gabriel, ¿cómo te has sentido integrándote aquí a San Diego y cómo recibiste la noticia de tu transferencia aquí?
Mucho gusto, muy contento de estar acá. Necesitaba un cambio. Hace casi 3 años estaba en IC y estaba como que las cosas llegaron a un nivel que yo veía que como jugador ya no podía crecer más. Entonces, muy contento de estar acá. Yo recibí la noticia con mucha alegría. Y sí, muy contento y ansioso para empezar y que las cosas salgan bien.
On his thoughts on joining SanDiego.FC, and he says, nice to meet you all. I'm very happy to be here, and I needed that change. I had been at DC for 3 years, and I was ready to keep growing as a player. So I was very, very excited when the news came that I was coming here.
¿Qué es lo que más te llamó la atención del proyecto SanDiego.FC cuando te contactaron y te propusieron venir acá?
Primero que, yo año pasado he visto muchos juegos de San Diego y me ha gustado la manera como jugaban y cómo disfrutaban de los partidos. Pienso que es un juego más parecido de que yo tenía en Brasil, la manera brasileña de jugar y todo. Entonces, desde el principio cuando San Diego ahí estuve en la liga, yo traté de mirar los partidos y eso me gustó mucho. Entonces, cuando tuve los primeros contactos, yo obviamente que me quedé muy contento por eso. Creo que la manera como se juega San Diego es muy buena para mí. Pienso que puedo ayudar a los equipos igual. Y obviamente toda la estructura que tienen es muy buena, entonces eso que lo atrae a los jugadores.
Let me translate real quick on what caught his attention on coming here. And then he said, first of all, last year I saw a lot of matches for San Diego, and I really liked the way they played, and I enjoyed watching their matches. And it's similar to the way I used to play with teams in Brazil. And since San Diego joined the league, I tried to keep up and watch their matches. So when first contact came from San Diego with me, I was very happy. And for me, I'm excited to come and play this style as well, and excited to help the team. I think the whole structure here is great, and I'm excited to get started.
How would you describe your playing style?
¿Cómo describirías tu forma de jugar?
Yo soy un mediocampista que le gusta ayudar en la posesión y todo, que soy rápido para un mediocampista, entonces me pico en los espacios igual. soy un poco versátil, entonces pienso que la manera como juega San Diego, un cambio de posiciones, yo pienso que puedo agregar mucho en eso. Incluso pienso que tengo un buen remate, el equipo hace muchos goles, entonces pienso que yo puedo dar en esa manera.
I'm a midfielder that likes to play and have possession, so I'm fast and look for spaces, and I'm versatile, and I think the way San Diego plays suits me and my style, and I can help with that. I like to take a lot of shots, and given the team likes to score a lot of goals, I think I can help with that.
And then you came from a school that had Neymar and Pele. What kind of upbringing did that inspire you to become a better football player?
Obviamente que como jugador uno, o sea, yo crecí en Santos, donde surgió Neymar, Pelé, obviamente. Entonces, ahí desde niño como que me encantaba. Yo opté por Santos cuando estaba al principio de la academia, por eso, porque me encantaba la manera como jugaban, como tenía alegría en tener la pelota y disfrutar del partido. Eso que yo trato de hacer siempre, lo que más aprendí en mi vida, que las cosas cuando se disfrutan, las cosas salen bien. Entonces eso que cuando estoy dentro de la cancha me ha inspirado ellos para que yo disfrute y salga todo muy bien.
So obviously, I grew up in Santos, where Neymar and Pele played, and since I was a kid, I loved watching them, and I loved the way they played and the joy they had when they played matches. So I really enjoyed that, and what I've learned in life is like when you enjoy things go well.
Hablas un poco de que pues el estilo de San Diego te parece o te ha parecido como viste el juego en Brasil. Es un estilo que también viene de Europa. ¿Qué aspectos particulares de la forma que juega San Diego te recuerdan a Brasil?
Un juego que todo el tiempo se busca presionar y tener la pelota y disfrutar con la pelota, el pie, o sea, ser dominante en los partidos. Yo pienso que eso que los equipos en Brasil hacen muy bien y que muchos equipos todo el tiempo tratan de tener la pelota y dominar los partidos. Entonces pienso que es eso que me ha traído más atención y que San Diego quiere ser un equipo propositivo, que haga las cosas y no que las cosas les hagan, ¿sabes? Entonces eso para mí es que más me ha llamado la atención y que para mí es muy similar.
The question was on talking about San Diego's style of play, and it's a similar style that's also played in Europe, and what aspects of that game remind him of his time in Brazil. And his answer is, looking to always have that pressure on the ball and looking to have the ball in that possession, and that's something that, San Diego does very well, having possession of the ball, and, a team that likes to propose the match doesn't like to sit back and wait. And I think that's what caught his attention the most.
¿Y cómo te recibió el grupo, el cuerpo técnico, los jugadores con más experiencia? ¿Cómo te recibieron?
Muy bien, desde el principio de las negociaciones, obviamente mi agente, la persona del club, todos me dijeron que acá tenían un grupo muy bueno, un grupo que trabaja, que lo protege a los jugadores y que todos están muy contentos, una competición saía ahí del día a día. Incluso yo hablé con Anibol antes de llegar acá y me dijo, hey, venga que te vamos a recibir muy bien, te vamos a ayudar. Entonces eso te hace sentir parte del equipo ya, entonces me siento muy bien con ellos.
So on how the team has welcomed him, and he said it's been very good since the start of the negotiations. He was told that there was a very good group here and that everyone was very nice, and that it was a very healthy competition on the locker room and on the field, and that right away makes you feel part of the family. He spoke to Anibol,
Sí.
sorry, in advance of coming here, and he told him that everything was, great, and that he should come and not think about it twice.
Anibol, how was this break for you? Obviously participating in the World Cup. Could you just describe your participation and what it was like going through the biggest World Cup in history?
Yeah, I think it's amazing for me. It's a good experience. I feel really proud, to represent first one San Diego in the World Cup and to represent my country also. I think it's the best tournament in the world, and we are really happy to be there. And I think we have a tough group, but I think in the end we compete really well, and we have to keep working really hard to try to be and get there one more time.
And then if you can bottle one of those moments throughout your experience in the World Cup, what's one of those moments that will stick through you forever?
I have so many moments, during that World Cup, but I think The last game, I think against England, like in the way we compete the first 60 minutes, nobody expect that one. In this game, and this is what I say, like I am really proud of the team, of the player. I think it's a really good 70 minutes. I don't know if we can do it. Oh, I think we can do it again one more time, but I think it's every single people in Panama talking about this game, and not only in this game, I think against Croatia, also we're doing really well, but in the end, you play against really good players, individual players, and they can change the game in one moment, and this is what happened.
How much of a pep in your step have you gotten coming back to the club and knowing you're coming off that experience and the world stage and all that?
Yeah, first one, I am really happy to be here back, again, to feel that sensation of the group, and it's quick turnaround for me. I think I have to change the ship really quick, but in the way we are proud, or in the way we are playing so far, I think it's easy for us and for me to come back also to be here in the team and also fighting for one spot again. I think we have a healthy team right now, and everybody is ready to compete, and everybody wanna be in the squad and wanna win game also.
To be able to kind of turn the page and have this second half of the season start as kind of a fresh, makeover. What do you think you want to change about your approach this time versus what happened in the first half of the season?
Yeah, I think this off-season for us is really good because we have so many days to working in the way we want to play. I think we want to improve in so many areas of the field, and we want to win in game, But I think in the way we can win in game here, it matter, I think we have to be ready in every single moment of the game, and I think this is why we're training. I think right now we have to train how we can close the game, because I think the first 6 months or the first part of the season, we are winning so many games, 1-0 or 2-1. We concede so many goals in the end, and I think we have to be ready to close the game better.
From that standpoint, what was the takeaway from the first half? Like talking to Tyler and Mikey, like there didn't seem to be any panic, like we're not playing well, that sort of thing. It's like you said, it's kind of the way you close. From a player standpoint, how'd you process that first half when it was so uncharacteristic based on what we saw last year?
Yeah, I think it's not about in the way we play, because I think we play really good so many games. We control the game like what we want, or like in the way we're training every day. I think we're doing so well in that part, but like what I said before, I think in the last 15, on the last 10 minutes on every single game, I think we know our the same energy, or we have like that small sensation like we are winning, but the other thing start to press us, And I think this is what we are training. I think they try to close the game better, because try to control the game with the ball also better, because we know we are that team. We can. No, also without ball, we have to control the game. I think with the ball in the end also, I think we have really good player to try to do that one. I think this is why we are training so far.
Were you in touch much with CJ during the World Cup, and what was it like seeing Cape Verde do what they did?
Oh, for me, it's like, I know CJ don't play, but I think he is part of the squad, part of that legend squad, that generation. I think they're doing really well, and I am really surprised like how far they go. I think they have really good player playing Europe. This is what I say, like when you have really good individual player and you have really good team, you can do it like what they're doing.
Can you compare this experience, this World Cup experience, to your first one in 2018?
Yeah, it's a big difference. I think for me personally, we have more pressure, like to win the games, to take a point, because in the first World Cup, it's our first one ever. We want to go there, or we went there to enjoy a little bit more, to know how is the World Cup, how is the be around the big player, be around the good tournament. But now, right now, with this generation, I think we expect really more. The people expect really more. The country also expect really more, for us, because we have a player playing in really good team in Euro Champions League, and this is what it is, because when you start to jumping in every single moment, every single year, I think everybody expect more on you, and everybody expect more in the country and more in the national team this World Cup. But I think we're doing really good step this World Cup. We don't concede so many goals like the last one, but we don't score, and we don't take point. I think this is the bad side of the World Cup for us,
You were like you said, on the field against England. So what are your expectations for them now against Argentina?
Oh, I think England have chance to win, because against Argentina you have to play with patience, because Argentina have really good players, but I think they show proud, and this is why they can't win game. When they don't have, or when they don't play good football, they put something different, during the field, and I think England have that one. England is really tough thing to beat, I think this is a good game to watch tomorrow. Yeah.
Who do you think wins the World Cup?
Oh, I think France. Yeah.
They're down right now.
Oh, really?
They scored.
No.
I just checked the score.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But not this one.
Pues su experiencia en tiempo del mundial, ¿cómo le fue? ¿Cómo se vivió?
Bien, contento. Le digo que una experiencia muy grande, única, estar en un mundial en la mayor cita del fútbol. Creo que, como le decía, estuvimos bien, más allá de que no conseguimos puntos. Creo que la imagen que dejamos fue muy buena dentro de todo. Muchos no esperaban esa imagen de Panamá y creo que lo hicimos de la mejor manera y no tenemos que reprocharnos nada por lo que hicimos dentro del Mundial.
¿Hay algo que le interesa para el futuro del fútbol, cómo se ven las reglas nuevas, la pausa de hidratación o el VAR?
Bueno, creo que la pausa de hidratación en esta temporada, en estos tiempos de verano, creo que está buena. Por ahí puede ser un poco menos, ¿sabe? Por ahí 3 minutos un poquito largo, pero son cosas que a nosotros los jugadores tenemos que cumplirlas, ¿sabe? La gente de la FIFA, la gente que controla eso, ya ellos sabrán cómo manejar esa situación, pero creo que en el verano es bueno. Ya veremos, no sé en qué momento será un mundial en invierno otra vez, pero creo que sí, el verano sí es, aquí más en Estados Unidos, creo que sí es bueno hacerlo.
What was it like to get the call?
I was really excited. It was like, I feel like it was a lot of waiting, and there was a couple teams I was hearing about, like for my agent and stuff. But when I heard it was San Diego, it was like a really great feeling. And it took me a little bit to like, I just wanted to make sure everything was like confirmed and everything before I like jinxed it or anything and told like my parents and everything. But like, I'm also coming back to California, so it's great for my parents and like my friends and everything. So.
Joining this club, your prior knowledge of them, their run last year, things of that nature, what do you make of it all?
Yeah, I think like ever since they've come into the league, or we've come into the league now, I can say, I've just really admired the style of play and like how they build from the back. It's just a really brave style, and I enjoy watching it. It's like one of the few like Western Conference MLS teams I like enjoy to watch.
Kind of a crash course with 2 matches next week, but what do you have to do to earn more minutes and be really a staple for this club?
I think just keep building. Obviously I feel like I came in at like a good time. It's not like a normal season. It's kind of like a preseason kind of thing, and so it gives me a little bit of time to learn the tactics and the principles and all that. And so I think just keep building on that. And we have our last preseason game tomorrow, and so yeah.
The profile reads left-footed center back. I can play fullback as well. But what type of defender are you? Or you describe yourself?
I feel good on the ball. I want to get into duels and challenges, and just brave and just keep clean sheets.
What has been the takeaway so far, just in training and being with these guys and experiencing that style of play as well?
Yeah, I think it's just the first thing. It's been like really fun getting to play in this system, in this style. And yeah, I think like the mentality of everyone, like I feel like it's a lot different when you get to be out here with everyone as opposed to like watching them like on like my little TV screen or on my phone.
What's your understanding of the type of season they've had, maybe some of the issues in the back line and what needs to be done for them to kind of get back to the level they were at last year?
Yeah, I think it's just, we've talked about it, I think it's just mentality and moments. I think that everyone knows here that we can still play and the same style. It's still basically the same team, and just taking care of those little moments because like you slip up for a minute or two and there's the game. So
You were born in Redlands. So
Yeah.
You're from out here. So
Yeah.
so how does it feel to be back on the West Coast?
it was really exciting flying in. I just feel comfortable here, and obviously I have like friends that live over here now and stuff, and I can go see my family hour and a half away. So yeah, it's great.
I mean, I know Colorado beat SDFC last year. You were in that match?
I was in the one in San Diego.
The one in San Diego.
We lost. Colorado lost.
So what did you think back about that experience? Did that kind of inform you at all about like style of play and what makes them challenging to face, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think it's just like you go long stretches like without having the ball, and so just like defending and staying concentrated for long periods of time, going against that was like the main thing. But it was also a great atmosphere when I played as well, and so that's something I'm looking forward to.